This is part 2 of our fork seal and oil replacement video. Please refer to part 1 for disassembly. Now is a great time to refer to your owner's manual for parts inspection. This is the order it's going to go back on. You have your dust seal, your retaining clip, your oil seal, your washer, your outer bushing, and your inner bushing. Go ahead and stand it up and put it in a vise. We're using soft jaws on this, so be really careful not to mar your fork leg. Next, we're going to put the Motion Pro seal bullet on, and this is going to protect our dust seal and oil seal from the grooves that hold the inner fork bushing on. Go ahead and grease it up. We're also going to take our dust seal. We're going to grease it so it slides down. Next is our retaining clip. And then our oil seal. A little extra grease in there, never hurt anything. This, of course, is our seal grease. Slide that over, and then when you get to the bottom, be careful and make sure you get it over that last groove without tearing any of the seal. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the seal bullet, and then we're going to slide the washer on, the outer bushing, the inner bushing. And this is the one that sits in the groove, so spread it a little bit, slide it down until it clips into place. Now we're going to take the outer fork tube, slide it down. So we're going to grab our tusk seal driver and go ahead and drive the bushing and the washer. Just a couple light taps. You can actually hear the sound it makes when it bottoms out. We're going to go ahead and remove those. And then we're going to drive the seal, the actual oil seal. And once again, go ahead and drive that in, and you'll be able to hear the different sound it makes. You'll know when it's all the way seated. Next, we want to install the retaining clip. Go ahead and slide that into place, and just to make sure that it clicks in, you can go ahead and use your seal driver again, and you can actually hear it snap. Sometimes a visual inspection to make sure it's seated all the way, and then slide your dust seal on, just using your fingers to push that on. Now it's time to reassemble. We're going to go ahead and put the push rod into the damping rod, and we're going to fill it with oil. You're going to want to fill it nearly to the top. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and lift the outer tube about 6 to 8 inches. Maybe a couple times. Now what we want to do is grab the inner damping rod and run that through its stroke, and do it slowly. On some of the older ones, oil will actually squirt right out of the end of the rod, so be careful. And what we're doing here is we're filling the cartridge full of oil and getting the air out of it. It might be necessary to add some more oil, just so you can fill it as you pull that rod through its stroke if there's any air left. You want a nice smooth action. Now it's time to add oil using our Tusk fork oil level tool. And when we measure the oil, we want to make sure and have everything in the fork except the spring, the damping rod completely compressed, the fork outer tube completely compressed, and we're going to measure from the outer fork tube down to the oil. Go ahead and refer to your service manual and get your fork oil level height and set the laser etched marks on the fork oil level tool. And then basically what you're going to do here is you're going to pull oil out of the fork, and so it's going to need to be a little bit overfilled to get the level correct. Once it starts to suck air, then you know that you're at the correct height. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is pull the damping rod up until it's fully extended. I'm going to put the spring on. You kind of have to hold it up as you're pushing the spring on. Kind of hold it with your other hand. Then you have your spring centering washer that goes on next, and then your fork cap. And at this point you want to make sure that your lock nut is threaded all the way down to give your fork cap as much thread as possible. And then you slide the wrench in, holds the fork spring down, and you're going to back that lock nut up against your fork cap. Go ahead and make sure that's fairly tight. Alright, our next step, we're going to go ahead and pull up our outer fork tube and thread the fork cap back into it. The next thing we want to do here is set our rebound back to where it was. And you're ready to mount it on the bike, and let's go ride.